a franchise that seemed like it was really competing with the juggernaut that was the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series was Skate, guys. This was a franchise that spans between across 3 different games and was really starting to build something special. But all of a sudden it ended. And we haven't seen a continuation of Skate since then. And so I want to talk about in this last segment of the show, where is Skate 4 and could we see a Skate 4 in the foreseeable future? So let's talk about it. Guys, as I said, Skate kind of spans between 3 different games. You have Skate 1, Skate 2, Skate 3, and the first Skate came out back in 2007, guys, and its reception was pretty good. Generally favorable reviews from critics on both platforms, according to review aggregator Metacritic. Overall, guys, all across the board, pretty much like 8s out of 10, 7s out of 10. I mean, of course, you had a couple like C pluses, but overall, you had pretty good reviews for Skate 1. Then you get to Skate 2, and from Skate 2, you of course had pretty much a lot of the same. You had generally favorable reviews that of course spanned, across like all of these different review websites were giving it 7 and 8s and 9s out of 10s. Really good overall. Game Informer gave it a 9 out of 10. Eurogamer 8 out of 10. Edge 7 out of 10. Just overall doing pretty good. IGN gave it an 8.3 out of 10. That's pretty good at the end of the day. But what I will say is once we got to Skate 3, you had once again generally favorable reviews. That being like with Metacritic, 80 out of 100, 8 out of 10s from IGN. GameSpot, 7 out of 10, or 7.5 out of 10, I should say. And this game came out, guys, back in May of 2010. Okay? So over like about 10 years ago, this game came out. And so we haven't seen a continuation of it. So, I mean, like, seriously, what happened here? Because Skate 3 received generally favorable reviews from critics on both platforms, according to the review aggregator Metacritic. At the end of the day, it's not always the reviews, right? Or the reception. A lot of times, it's also the sales. The game has become a popular staple of Let's Play channels due to its humorous ragdoll physics and glitches, resulting in the game being a high-selling game as late as 2014, requiring EA to issue a reprinting of the title. The game was also one of the most requested titles to be added to the Xbox One backwards compatibility feature and was made backwards compatible on November 10th, 2016. EA shut down the game's servers around the end of 2016. However, just prior to the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2018, in June of 2018 and in late 2019, after Electronic Entertainment Expo 2019, EA reactivated the servers, leading to speculation of either a remaster or Skate 3 or a new title in the Skate series. So look, obviously, guys, EA, they shut down the servers for a while, then they put them back up, right? Now, the question is where is Skate 4? Because is this going to be a game that we could very well see in the future? I think it is, guys. But man, it's been so long. Would they just do a soft reboot? It's really hard to say. But in an article that was written by Alex Averd of Games Radar, let's just call it how we see it. Skate 4 is video games Bigfoot. Every year without fail, there's more rumor and whispers surrounding its potential existence within the darkest corners of Electronic Arts. But so far, the publisher has refrained from either confirming or denying the existence of a new entry in its famed sports action franchise. It's a hard truth to hear right now, especially when Skate 3 continues to be played and enjoyed by thousands even today. But who knows, perhaps Skate 4 will be a surprise launch title for the PS5 or Xbox Series X in a few years' time. Maybe a big announcement is literally days away, or perhaps we're all just chasing an illusionary pipe dream that will never come to fruition. So look, I think that if we do see a Skate 4, it's probably going to be, it would obviously be on the next generation of consoles, unless they're doing like mobile games or, things of that nature. But ultimately, if they're doing like an actual continuation of this franchise, it's most likely going to be on the next generation of consoles. And we probably won't see, it would probably get announced maybe this year, maybe next year, and then we probably wouldn't see it until a year or so after that. On the evening of June 4th, out of nowhere, Skate 3's online servers came back online mere days before the start of EA Play. Sadly, Electronic Arts had nothing to say during its E3 conference, undermined the significance of that server reboot, but the fact that it happened could still be interpreted as a signal of future intent nonetheless. Going back further in the series' history, Skate and Skate 2 released in 2007 and 2009 respectively, and both sold exceptionally well for a new IP in a niche genre historically dominated by a single franchise. Each title was received favorably by critics and skateboarding fans too, which quickly established the narrative that Skate was fast on its way to dethroning Tony Hawk as the king of the genre. This success inevitably led to the release of Skate 3 in 2010, and while that title represents the series at the top of its game, it didn't sell as well as EA had hoped at the time. Tellingly, however, the game only grew in popularity from there, with a surprising peak in sales by 2014 thanks to PewDiePie. This eventually created more demand than supply for copies of the threequel, at which point EA even reissued new stock to keep sales going. As of today, Skate 3 has sold 2.68 million units worldwide. Still, this clearly hasn't been enough to yet warrant a fourth game in the publisher's mind, as you can read on about. But 2.68 million copies, okay, look, guys, that's not great. It's not great. I mean, when you think of a franchise that, okay, at this point, this would be Skate 3, 2.68 million copies for a developer or in a publisher, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, you know what, maybe we should kind of look for greener pastures. Maybe we should, work on some of our other, franchises, Star Wars and, Battlefield and such, that are going to churn us out a lot more money. But I think that this is a niche genre, and I don't think that this is a game that probably costs a super amount of money to make. But at the end of the day, we really don't know, right? We don't know how much this game costs versus, a Battlefield or, a Star Wars game. But still, I think that this should coexist with other games in the universe, because in the universe of gaming. Because we don't have any more Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, unless they're going to be announcing one of those at some point or another. Why not have another skate game? I think that would be really cool. And so, considering Richtella said this only 5 months on from the release of Skate 3, it reveals how quickly EA had apparently resigned itself to the perceived death of not just their own IP, but the genre at large. This goes a long way in explaining the official radio silence from the company for the next few years, give or take a handful of unsourced rumors. Then nearly 7 years later, something happened. In January 2017, Daniel Lingen, a community engagement executive for EA, tweeted #Skate4 from his personal account with no context or explanation as to why. You can imagine the reaction that followed, with everyone presuming the tweet to be a savvy marketing tactic teasing the existence of the hashtag game in question. This appeared to be corroborated by the fact that EA had recently made Skate 3 backwards compatible for the Xbox One, fueling further speculation about the long-awaited return of the series. Unfortunately, EA CEO Andrew Wilson quickly threw cold water on the buzz in an earnings call a few days later, telling investors that the company is not presently making Skate 4. That was the last official word we've had on the game since then. But note the use of the word presently by Wilson, meaning EA hasn't definitely ruled out making another Skate title in the future. They still own the IP after all. So look, there is a lot of people that want to see Skate 4. I mean, there just is. This is something that I think people are yearning for. A lot of people who are within the skateboarding, just world, love, are in that community, and even just in the video game world of loving skate and games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater, they're wanting to see continuations of this genre, and they haven't been able to get that, unfortunately. But I think, guys, that a lot of this is being fueled by the community, and that's a good thing, though. If you want to see the continuation of your favorite games, a lot of times the way that you do that is by telling the developers what it is that you want. And if you have a big enough community doing that, there's a good chance that you might see the continuation of your franchise. Even after Andrew Wilson had attempted to quell any fervor over the now infamous Skate 4 tweet, people were still gearing up for a reveal of a Skate game at EA's E3 press conference in June of 2017. When the conference came and went with not a skateboard in sight, then there was an inevitable backlash. Tyler, the creator, tweeted saying, Skate 4, I dream of you. Meanwhile, an independent developer has taken matters into its own hands by working on a spiritual successor to Skate 3, heavily inspired by the simulation-focused mechanics of the series itself. Entitled Sessions, many have decided to declare this upcoming game as the unofficial Skate 4 that people have been yearning for, and it's due for a 2019 release. Despite EA's insistence that nothing is happening, the internet has still been actively discussing what they'd like to see in a hypothetical Skate sequel, right down to the nitty-gritty details of its currently non-existent design. The main request is more of the same, with a slight return to the responsive realism of Skate 2. I just want them to remember what they set out to do with the Skate franchise, says Redditor CVBK12. It wasn't meant to be a full-on casual game. I don't want to have to unlock tricks. The more you play, the better you get. And so, look, guys, you know, with Session, that's a good point that, you know, of something that can kind of quench your appetite, so to speak, or your thirst for more Skate games. But I think people really want Skate, right? People want Skate. They want a game like Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Those are the big juggernauts in this space that people really want. And at this point, it just doesn't, I don't know if we're really going to be able to see another Skate unless EA kind of takes the reins and says, let's do it. Kind of like Dead Space. It feels somewhat like Dead Space. EA, you know, Closed Visceral Games, they have a franchise that has a solid following, but they just won't pursue it because they're pursuing those bigger titles that, you know, like Star Wars and Battlefield. And, you know, obviously they've had Madden, they've had other games where it's like, why would you even continue making these games in the franchise? They're just making more money off of these other, you know, franchises that they own. It's really unfortunate, guys, but it's just kind of becoming a reality for the gaming industry that they're going to use their dollars in a way in which is going to make them more money and not take unnecessary risks, that being like a Skate 4. We're of two minds about Skate 4. Of course, we'd love to see another entry in the series, but at the same time, EA has changed a lot since 2010. If the reality of a Skate 4 game is one which features an overpriced season pass, walled-off pre-order bonuses, and distasteful microtransactions, then we instead prefer to just theoretically enjoy the ideal version of Skate 4 that currently exists in our imagination. To be fair, upcoming EA titles like Anthem, which obviously has already come out, guys, but suggest is making a move away from the Faustian profiteering of its past and towards a more consumer-first business model, which is absolutely not true. And I do agree 100%, guys, that EA has changed a lot since 2010. They are absolutely of the mindset of they're a money-making machine, essentially. Microtransactions, overpriced season passes, and, you know, pre-order bonuses, microtransactions. Those are all things, guys, that pretty much all the biggest companies are into. So if you got a Skate 4, the way that I look at it is if you get a Skate 4, just be aware and prepared that they're going to have all this stuff. But at least you're getting a Skate 4. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you got to look at. There was a lot of backlash with Gears 5 and how those microtransactions were handled in Gears 5. But it's like, look, at least we got another Gears title that we were able to go to. There's a lot of franchises like Skate that we haven't seen a continuation of. That community hasn't had that continuation. They want it. Regardless of whether there's microtransactions, things of that nature, you want that continuation. So I think, guys, that I see it from both sides, but I really think that if you want to Skate 4, you just have to expect nowadays that there's going to be microtransactions, and it's up to you, though, to be responsible enough just to say, no, I'm not going to buy any microtransactions. After all this build-up and drama, then Skate 4 absolutely has to be worth the wait, but we're willing to give EA the benefit of the doubt if it eventually wishes to make a fourth-wheeled comeback in the future. So, guys, I want to hear from all of you. What do you guys think about the Skate franchise? What do you think happened there? And where is Skate 4 at this point? Do you guys want there to be a Skate 4? Do you think it has to do with EA as a whole? Or do you think it has to do with like poor sales or just a lack of ideas with the franchise and the genre as a whole? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And for more Skate 4 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.